All right, good morning traders. Welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and so we're doing live analysis like we do every week here. This is part of the Bookmap education. It's all free, and you are getting the forward-looking analysis based on our educational course, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. So our education in general, what we're doing is we have an educational course, and then we go through that course content in the live market so you can learn to apply what you've learned and put the pieces together here. Then we have a few different traders that are trading live, so you can look over the shoulder of their very specific ways of trading. We're a trading platform, not a trading style. Therefore, we have the live traders in here that go over their specific style. For stocks, we have Jay Trader on Wednesday at 10 a.m. and Scott Pulsini for futures on Thursday at 10 a.m. All right, let's quickly go through the disclosures. We'll jump right in. We'll look at the S&P E-mini, stocks and crypto, whatever you guys want to take a look at. All right, so here, general disclosure. All Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so the gist of it, this is all for education. All right, not a trade recommendation, not anything more than that. So let's put these pieces together, looking at the S&P E-mini, and let me know if you have any questions. Put it into the questions chat there, and we can go through it, even in any instruments you might want to take a look at here. All right, so yeah, not much here actually in the pre-market. You can see from 6:30 a.m. Very, very choppy in here. But let's look at the bigger picture here, because we see the 9:30 cash open and it's really all over the place. It's up to high liquidity up here around just shy of 40.70, down to high liquidity down here at 40.40. It traded into that, and it's just right in the middle right now. So not getting too much out of this here. If anything, well, structurally, it's a hard read right now. Structurally, it's making lower lows and lower highs, okay? But pretty strong buying coming in here. Okay, so if we can get back up here, we could have a nice move to the upside, I think, if we get the buyers. And we're looking to see if we get buyers. Okay, so we're looking at even right now, current market. Are we getting buyers right here at 52, just above the figure at 40.50? And we have VWAP here, so it's in, and price action has been really just hovering around this figure here at 40.50. Here comes some sellers. There's some exhaustion there. So let's see if we can get actually a little bit lower here. Just a quick read in the order flow and right down to 40.40 again here. Looking for it. Okay, looking for the sellers. Here's what we looked at. Here's what we saw just now. Well, we're looking for maybe buyers. They can come back in because we saw a lot of buying volume in here. Okay, I'm just going through it very quickly, guys. We'll come back and revisit. And then looking for our buyers in here. We didn't see them. We started to see sellers down here. Okay, we're looking for them to drop it into these lower levels then. So far, they've made a lower low here. Still looking to see if we can get more sellers in here at 40.45 and then down to 40.40. There we go again. Lack of buying. And let's see if we get our sellers here. And the push. No, not yet. Looking for them. There they are. All right, so we got 40.45 already, and we're back up into the range. So oh, here we go. All right, so sellers coming in again, looking still for this this push down into 40.40. All right, now let's just take a bigger step back here, and we just went through the current market here. And I just want to look at the bigger picture. And there's a lot of bigger picture stuff to look at here during these times of volatility. I love it. I mean, we all love it as traders. The moves have been nice, big, sweeping moves, lots of points. And there's been some chop as well, but some nice big moves, especially on Friday. That was a really nice session. behaved very nicely with the order flow. All right, well, here's a big picture moment. We are below these wicks here, okay, on the daily chart here on the left, on the candlestick chart. It's the hourly in the middle and the 15-minute here on the right. Now, that's pretty significant because let's look at, I need to zoom out and look at another chart here to understand what's going on. Okay, and here it is. All right, the bigger picture is these wicks down here is what we were looking at earlier, looking for those moves into these areas here. We got it, and now, and we're still going lower. So here's another critical area we're just testing right now, or today. We're just a little shy of it. 30, 40, 30. Below that we have 4,000. That's going to be a key area. We talked about this area last week and how important it was to, let's see here, I think it's in here. There it is. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. That's it. Okay. So last week we talked about this whole kind of zone in here and this wick down here. It was this zone in here, okay? And you can see what we're doing right now. We are testing the bottom of that wick right now, okay? So we're looking to see if we get more momentum on the sell side. I mean, look at the day here so far. Okay, the day is down. We see the red candle here. We gapped down and we're still going down. Okay, so that much we know. So we're looking for a move into some of these areas previously. And why these areas? Because this is previously where we found buyers. Okay, we can see the buying in here. And we had a retest here, a higher low, more buying. Didn't really, we covered this last week in the bigger picture as well, how this buying in here, although it's good and it moved to you know, pretty nice swing highs here and all-time highs. The way that it kind of did that was a grinding move. So a lot of times when we hit some of these other areas here and you see a big reaction by buyers, these are great areas to take a look at. These other areas here, now in general, this is very general. You know, we look for areas, tests into these areas, and not such a huge move in here. But in this case, there's some nice volatility. So you know, last week the dip into this area and nice move to the upside, nice move to the downside again. Even on Friday we had this nice wick in here, and you can see now we're back down. All right, so looking for follow through from the sell side to get back into this area here. Now, for you volume profile guys, it's not really about volume profile. It's just about order flow. There's not a whole lot of trading in here. Okay, so there's a lot more trading in these areas in here, but there's very little in here. Okay, so that's obviously going to be a low volume node. You don't need to know much about volume profile to know that. Okay, so well, maybe we get quick reaction and buyers if we dip a little bit lower, hit 4,000, and then you know we see a lot of buying. That's a possible scenario. I don't see it developing yet, but it's a possible scenario. Okay, what about if we blaze through this area? Then that's going to be pretty significant. Okay, we're going to come back down. We're probably going to test right in this area here and look for a bounce because this is where the buyers did come in. And that is here around, looks like 39.66 or 70, somewhere around in there. And we can even take a look down here, see where the buyers came in this area here, and it gapped. Okay, so we're just kind of all we're doing is just getting kind of a feel for certain areas, and that's it. Okay, so we talked about this kind of 66, 70 area, somewhere around in here. Okay, we could also look at let's see, yeah, maybe where's that gap that we saw? I guess right around in here. or the swing down in here. These are just some of the levels we want to be kind of aware of here. This is a nice one here this is 3,900 or more or less, 3,900 the figure. Okay, so let's mark that one up as well. Okay, that's where we saw it. Look at the nice move out of it, right? Okay, and then also the swing here. All right, the gap and the go here. All right, so we're just kind of looking at some higher time frame levels here, and where we might be going, and then on the we got to do it on the other side too. Well, the gap fill is an obvious one up here. That would be kind of one of the first areas to take a look at. Okay, up in there. All right, so around our 4120 area. That was we've been looking at that for a long time. All right, so bigger picture, that's it on the daily at least. And let's look at the hourly here. Here's our nice gap, and we see wicks on both sides here on the hourly. So not seeing a whole lot right now on the hourly. 15-minute chart. Let's look at that. Or this is a 5-minute. Let's try 15. Okay, and let's just look at today. All right, there we go. Yeah, not too decisive either on either of these smaller time frames, the hourly and the 15-minute. All right, so that leads us to Bookmap and order flow. All right, and what's going on here. All right, so as we left off, we were looking for the move into 45 and then 40. Okay, well, it went down lower. It made lows for the day here. It went down to 35. Liquidity here at 35. Looks like they got filled partially. 40 is the big fill, and then yeah, they're getting filled in this area here. They're pulling, but some of it, but they're also getting filled in here. Okay, and then one more little push below, and then we see the buyers come in. Okay, and a beautiful move right back to VWAP already. God, okay, pretty quick moving. Too bad to miss that. We look for these guys. We look for these mean reversion traders to do this. Once they have enough of a point move here, and we have some stops, down into some of these areas in here, we look for these guys to really step on the throttle to trade it right back to VWAP or point of control or mean reversion. Okay, and we've been noticing this for years. I've been covering it more and more recently about understanding when these guys might show up. Okay, because they do all the time, and we get these really nice moves, and when to anticipate or look for the potential for those moves here. Okay, so here we go again. We're back up here at 52. That's where we're looking for our drop earlier. Yeah, right in here, and that kind of exhaustion in there, and then that selling coming in. Okay, so all right, so we found some sellers here out of the blue. They traded into and through 40.50 as well. Okay, so there we go. All right, there's a retest back to it. This is going to be critical here. We're going to be really keen on this event right here because it's an important one. A lot of selling in here, but they took on a lot of buyers. And they did trade lower, but we don't see a lot of sellers below it yet. Okay, so no follow through yet. Okay, guys, I've been rambling for a little bit here. Let me jump over to some of the questions and see what you guys have so far. Chop salad. Okay, Rob. Yeah, no, I mean, I think we saw that one pretty nicely, pretty easily down into 40, and they took it further into 35. Let's see. Only if we're on the right side of volatility. Yeah, that's. I mean, you know. you want to be you want to be on the right side, that's for sure. And we look for that in the order flow. Again, looking for sellers down here after this event. We're down here at the bottom here, and I don't see them yet. Okay, now they're coming in. All right, let's see them trade it back to 40 here. Okay, just looking for them to come down to 40 here and trade it. Okay, and yeah, it's kind of trickled off, as you guys can see. So we don't really see too much in here right now. You know, those decisive moves in here, you know, that strong selling, moving it away from an area after this VWAP test, or, you know, back into kind of a mean reversion trade here. And we just don't see that kind of commitment here. Okay, so it's just more or less like kind of a move back down to the bottom of the range here. All right, so yeah, here comes some buyers in here. And now they can get run over really quickly here. Yeah, it looks like they're going to get pressed. So we should get our move into 40 here. Okay, and then let's see if they can continue on 37 and 35. Interesting algo activity there. Now we're getting buyers on the other side here. Yeah, pretty range bound. Okay, let's see if we got our buyers back up above that and then back up to 44, maybe 45 here. Okay, I think we're in this kind of period right now. Like we've seen this period, and we're going to cover it more and more. If we're going to be trending, or if this is going to be kind of upset, you know, traders kind of on the hook here, and then a move to the other side of the range here. Okay, so we're already kind of seeing that behavior, and here's why. A lot of buying clusters up here. Okay, it did break the structure, but it came right back down in the middle, and then through it, and then here's our cluster down here, and then some back and forth in here, and another kind of buying cluster here, and then now we're back down. So it looks like sellers have it here, looking for them to follow through then down to 35 again. Okay, buyers take it right back to the middle. Looking to see if we can get below these guys though. See how this is different in here? We'd be looking for sellers on the hook here. See how these buyers can be on the hook if we get below here on selling. So below 38 on selling, that's what we're looking for. Just back to the top of the range, very range bound. All right, let's see if we can get, again, who's going to be holding the bag here. Here we go. Let's see if we get our sellers. Sellers got to get through 40. Okay, this is where these buyers came in again and lifted. Okay, we're looking for sellers down here at 40. And nothing. No, we're getting buyers at the top of the range. All right, sellers, you got it now. Let's see you move it. And 37, 40, or 35. There's 35. I think they've got more juice in this. Let's that's the low here. Let's see if they can take it lower than that, down to maybe 30 here. And let's take a look again and take a step back, look at our bigger picture here. All right, so bigger picture is, well, our down candle here now at lows, and on the daily, and then the hourly, we're starting to see some follow through here on the hourly. Previously, we didn't know that. We didn't have that. Now we're seeing it. 15-minute chart, let's just zoom in a little bit more. I can't really see too much right now. Or maybe I can do this. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I mean, looking for follow through on the sell side here. Okay, so that would be primary scenario here. And what about our really big picture chart on the daily? So we just kind of tested the low here of oh yeah, I can't really trust this data in here. 33 is a low. Yeah, it looks correct though. Okay, sellers, one more push here. I think they got it. We're looking for 31 and 30 here. And now here, since we're at lows here, we're looking for these sellers to really pick it up here and move it away here. We're looking for our stop runs, of course, but you know, where did that consistency in the selling start? It's up here. It's not bad, right? It's now, this isn't much of a points move. It's kind of chopping as it's going lower here, but we're seeing consistency here, and in here. All right, so just about 30. Did we trade 30? Yeah, we did trade 30. Okay, so I will hit that. And now we're seeing quite a bit of buyers come in as well. But you know, look at the structure here. Let's go through structure. We always talk about structure in here, right? And then we look at the volume within that structure. Now the structure is still bearish. Okay, and here's why. It's down here at this area here around 35. The highs here. Okay, well, it's below this area here. All right, so there's our exhaustion here. Now let's be real careful here, but there's our exhaustion on the buy side up here, looking for our sellers now here, and no, we're not getting them. One more push, retest back up here. Okay, now it's getting interesting here. There's some more buying. Okay, now if we get our buyers here, then looking for 40 and maybe even back to here where they dropped it, maybe even top of this range up here, 45. That's if they can do it. There's our volatility. All right. I like this scenario if we get up here around this kind of 37 area here and see our buyers, because there's a lot of people short now, and they're going to feel some pain on the way back up. I got CVD on here. Let me take that off and look at icebergs. All right, let's see if we got our buyers here around 36-ish. No, exhaustion. Order book is, I mean, these quick moves like this are, it's hard to get information from the order book in here, except for targets. All right, looking for them again, 35. Let's see if they can ramp it up here. Let's see if the order book can shift as well, show more demand here, and it's not. It's not. In fact, it's exhausting. Yeah, not much insight. Okay, well, we got our sellers coming back in. But yeah, I'm kind of leery on this one. I do like, we've seen this so many times, that this kind of structure like this, that even if we see buyers up here, it's not exhausting. They can't reach higher highs. And we start to look for the sellers down here at these lows, and then they'll push it like this. Okay, but see how the buyers, we've seen it here, well, in some of these other areas as well. They're still buying, they're still pressing it up here, and that's quite a bit of buying. Okay, well, sellers took it lower. Nice little stop run there. Okay, so hit a lot of stops. Okay, now let's take a look at this low here. Okay, so we're looking for a couple different scenarios in here. The one scenario I wanted to just cover, I'm just going to have to go through it really quickly here because it's good, it's moving. But we got to go through the education part and what we're looking in the order flow, our order flow reading here. If this is not much of a points move down below, it's a lot of selling, but they're not really moving it lower. If they come in now and start to move it away on high sell volume, yes, we're looking for our 25, 22. I mean, it'll just keep going. But we're looking to see if we get upended here. And the other scenario, if we get our buyers back up above this smaller move here, right? So again, this is the same ideas that we were covering earlier. We're just looking at where they're potentially on the hook or trapped. We know it's a stop run, right? So let's see if we can get back up above that area now, and then get a nice squeeze. Okay, that would be the secondary scenario here. All right, well, let's see if they can do it. It's now five point move, but this is not a whole lot of selling in here. All right, so a retest back up here is not out of the question at all. Structurally, it's, we're still kind of going through these scenarios, but structurally, like the structure is telling us it's bearish. All right, let me get to some questions in here. Sorry, guys, I've been just like really going through this pretty quickly here. Is my VWAP setting different today? No. Let's go to my VWAP settings. See, I have it at 9:30. I have it reset at 9:30. So cash open here, East Coast time. I know that's not correct. It's going to be different than most VWAPs, but that's the way I do it. So at least we can be on that page together. Yeah, so around, yeah, it's up here. What, around 49, it looks like. Structurally, guys, I mean, structure is such an important part here. We're still bearish. So, and we're seeing our sellers, so looking for a 25 to trade here. Okay, now when that structure is upended though, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to look for our buyers up here. Let's get our pen tool out and just and go for it. So the only way we can do this and try to get a jump on the order flow is we go through these different scenarios. Okay, so our primary scenario is still to the downside here. Our secondary scenario now is if we look at buyers come in back up around this area here, and then we'd be looking for our big green dots in here. Let's see if I can get green. Yeah, I can get green. So we're looking for big green dots here, right? And then the structure is broken here, right? And then we want to see follow through, okay? And bigger green dots, like, you know, just pulling this market up. And then we could look for top of the range or liquidity here at 40, right? That's what we'd be looking for in that secondary scenario. And this would be a nice squeeze to the upside. Okay, so that's our order flow scenarios. And we don't see it yet. Okay, now even in this smaller range in here, you can look for it. Let me clear that. All right, so up here, what if we get our buyers in here? You can even look for strategies here just to trade it up to the top of this range, because this is counter trend, so you have to be very, very careful with counter trend. You know, but we'd be looking for, and this is something, it's not, you know, a trading strategy of a recommendation here, but it's something you could do and look into. Just trade it up to 29. Okay, and just retest this area. We might not get the big green dots we're looking for here, but just a retest to it. There it is. Okay, here's our scenario. Now this is looking good. Look at how wicked this is. They come in with 890, throw it right underneath after it breaks through that area under here. So now all these sellers are upended. Okay, so now we're looking for a squeeze, and what we said, back up to yeah, basically up into here. I think I said 40. Maybe 40 was when we were looking at it here. Okay, I don't see much liquidity. I mean, some starting to come in around 35, which makes sense, but would like to see it up here. Would make more sense to me. And now this is where we can look at this here, and we'd be looking for all of this in here trapped. Okay, sellers trapped. Okay, and let's see if we can get buyers back up to squeeze them, turn these sellers into buyers. Okay, and then the move would be back up into here. All right, so wicked move, but I mean we've seen it so many times, and it's not playing nice, but that's how the markets are. Okay, we just need to be aware of this. We can start to anticipate this kind of behavior in here. And let's see if we get something from the order book in here. Give us a little more insight. Nothing yet. Here comes a little bit on the bid here at 27. All right, yeah, here. See how they're switched? They kind of pulled from up here, added here on the bid. And what's the reaction? Do we get our buyers? Not really. Not really. We're looking for it though, and we're looking for buyers up here to try to lift it up into, 35 and our 40 level. Oh, did I change the VWAP? Should be up there. You like the new drawing tool? Okay. Yeah, this pen tool is pretty nice. JTrader uses that. I think Scott uses it too. It's free. Okay, buyers can't do it. We're back down to the lows here. Now they tested it, right? They tested it up here. They tried. We didn't find them. Well, now we're going through the secondary or the primary scenario of the sellers down here, and then for them to push it now and test these areas, explore these areas here: 22, 20, 18, 15, 12. Okay, so where's the pivot in here, guys? Like I know in Discord you guys know this so many times over. Where's the pivot in this recent price action here? 35. No, I wouldn't. I mean, in the recent price action here, the 30 is not bad. I really like it here with this liquidity where they really trapped on the other side. Okay, so it's a little bit lower here. My drawings or my rectangles are a bit off. All right. So and you can see where the sellers pushed it through here. So probably around 28 looks really good here. That's our pivot line here. That's where we're seeing buyers above it, sellers below it. Okay, so if we are getting a retest in here, I'd be looking for buyers to retest back up to that area here. Okay, they may test a little bit higher actually around this 28.5 area here because of this big transaction here. Okay, so anyway, yeah, our primary scenario is now playing out quite nicely here. This secondary scenario failed. Okay, it failed in here and it failed right here where the sellers came in. Right, and we could see the exhaustion, or although it broke up here, that's good, and this is pretty wicked here. They pulled it, and we don't see them making higher highs in here. Now, it could have been a bear or a bull flag in here, but we didn't get buyers up here. I was looking for it. We're open to it, open to this like playing out, and it didn't. Okay, we got our sellers in here. We mentioned in here, what did they do up here? They tested it. Sellers on the other side. Now we're looking for them to test this liquidity here. Okay, we mentioned that on the way down, 22 to 20 to 15, 12 and a half. Why not 30? It's not, I mean, let's just zoom in here, okay, and be more precise with it. Okay, so we're looking at structure in here. Now the structure, although this is kind of a loose triangle or rectangle in here, here's really good. We have a swing, okay, another one, and then they broke out here. Okay, so I would be looking right at this. The pivot would be more precisely right here, right around this 27 3/4, and then the breakout here. And then they threw these orders on the other side here on the bid, and then pushed through. But we can always, a lot of times you'll see the retests come back to exactly where these areas are here, the big transaction, the big event, right? That's why we look at these events. These are important order flow events. Okay, so 28.5. And the retest, where did the retest come to? Okay, it came up to 28 3/4, one tick shy of it. And then they retested all the way back down here. Okay, and there's someone providing liquidity here on the bid, right at that event. Okay, and then exhaustion up here, and then the push through. Okay, the push through it, and this is where the sellers came in. Retest. Now they even retested the other side of it here. Okay, of that pivot line. And then once we see that, once we start to understand that behavior, that they retested it up in here and they could not get higher, and we're looking for the sellers to test these areas down here. Okay, and push price. Okay, so now we're getting back up here. This is getting really interesting. Now we're looking for this cluster here. Okay, we got some buyers coming in, right? Now they need to be up here at 32 or so. Okay, this is good. This is good, but look at the structure here. It's still, although this buying looks really, really good, right now we're still bearish here in the structure. Let's just take the volume off. Okay, this is why. All right, so we're still making lower lows and lower highs. Okay, now let's put the context on. We have a lot of context in here, really good context, okay, for this move to actually trade back to VWAP right now. Okay, we have the potential move here is shaping up. So here's what we're looking at. Okay, first off, all this liquidity we were looking at earlier to test, it tested, and they bought. Okay, and then now we're seeing a lot of buying come back in. Okay, so now can we get buyers up here and break the structure? And here's the structure. Okay, something like that, and something like this here. Okay, so we still stay bearish here until we see that. Okay, let's see if we get a bounce off here on that buy side. No, nothing. There they are, actually. Okay, so now they're coming in. All right, so look at these guys come in. Now they're going to try to test it right back up here, I imagine. Okay, back to these swings. So back to our 27 3/4 pivot, and then maybe back up to 30 now. Okay, looking for them, looking for these buyers. Back up to those areas, and then the structure we talked about up here around, it's actually around 31 and a half. Here they come. There they are. This is looking good, looking for them to break now above this and up into 35. And the volume's good. Okay, this is a critical retest here. All right, let's take a look at this, and we're going to look forward looking here. Okay, here's our potential trap volume. Okay, now if we get buyers up here, it won't be. They're going to push it. They're going to push it into 35 and 40, or look for it at least. Okay, our pivot line is here. Even it's still holding. It's maybe a little bit lower here, around 26 3/4 or so. Okay, but it bounced right off of it here. So if we get sellers below it, then we'd be looking for continuation. If we get buyers back up here, we're looking for that push. 35, 40, back to maybe 45 VWAP here now. Yep, let's see if they can do it. Looking for it. And buyers, let's see it. Push. Continue to push. We should see some stops here triggered. We got a nice stop run in here, or chain of stop runs. Okay, and they're still able to push it, so they're gonna continue to push it here. It does look like mean reversion, Alec. That we already had it once, but like we were saying, we've got a lot of kind of elements in here looking for the potential for this move here. It's nice. It's nicely set up. We just need to see that follow through on the buy side. Okay, because we've got lots of liquidity got filled in on the way down here. We saw this cluster here, and it failed. It went through it, so we're looking for the continuation. And then lots of buying in here. We remain bearish until we looked for that buying up in here, okay, and then the push. We talked about the potential bounce off of this area right here, went below it, and then they bought, and then back up above it, and then a nice move. Nice moves again in the S&P. I mean, I love it when it moves like 8 to 10 points on these swings. Okay, here we go again. They were coming right back up. I like it. All right, looking for 40 here. I think they can break this and hit 40 here. And if they can hit 40, with some size here and volume, they should be able to hit 45. 45 is nice as well. There's another kind of pivot area right here. So you can clearly see that. See the kind of it's a bull flag, but it's like a buying, pullback, strong buying, pullback, not able to make a higher high, really not really finding buyers, pushing it through here. And there's the order flow. And then here's retest to it and then continuation. Buyers have it really nicely set up here. They've got a lot to lean on with that liquidity filled here on the bid. We're back up here. It's looking good for this move to 40 here. Now, again, not a trade recommendation here. We can't do that. We don't do that in here. We just read the order flow and we give insight to where we think it's going to go based on the order flow reading here, applying what you've learned from our educational course. Okay, you need to do your studying, like your due diligence. Like, how often does this happen? Okay, what are the things you're looking for? How do you manage your risk in here on some of these considerations here? Now let's see if we get our buyers again here. Nice little rotation down. It's kind of echoes back to the classic S&P we all know. And then let's see here. We're all set up for this to break out. Looking for it. Looking for buyers up here, 35. They're on the bid at a little higher level at 30, so that looks good. And they're pulling. Failed to do it up here at 35. Failed to do it. Okay, sellers come in and stream in here. Still looking for a bounce off of these areas though. We still have areas of confluence here for a bounce, and then this could be like our nice little trap here. So buyers looking for the scenario of buyers above 30, if we can get that, and we're not. Interesting move. Okay, sellers coming in hand over fist. So it broke the trend line and then really picked up here. All right, well, I misread on that one. I still wouldn't count it out. We've seen enough times. Okay, it would have to be buyers back up above 26.5 or so, I think. No, this I don't think this was so random, to be honest, Alec. This was not a good read in here. We're open to this here. I mean, we saw these buyers come in here, and it was all set up so nicely just because, you know, we had this liquidity in here. We had our move here. See how we can draw that pivot in here. This is again the same thing. At these extremes, you see these sellers down here, and then the pull away, pull back to it, and then the bounce higher. It had a lot of things going for it in here, and we saw buyers higher high here. You know, big swing, but higher high, higher high. Looking for our buyers, looking for the follow through to 40. And now looking in hindsight, though, you can really see it very clearly. You know, you see that it was a lower high and or not many buyers up here. The delta is showing actually sellers, right? So we're even still kind of pulling for it here of like, oh, okay, we'll just bounce off of this area here in the structure. The structure broke though, right? So the structure broke in here. I was looking to see if we can kind of get, you know, buyers back up and above these sellers here. We would have been perfect because it's not much of a price move here. It's like 28 to 30, and it wouldn't take much for buyers to come back in above it, and then have all these guys on the hook, right? And then a nice move to 30. That was one of the scenarios here. What happened was they didn't show up at all. We got sellers down below it, and they really pressed on it. And now, you know, we're back in here again. And then, yeah, here we go. Now let's see this. Watch this here. I mean, momentum's to the downside in the bigger picture. We know that. Well, we go through the same scenario here. What if this is that false breakdown below 20 here? Okay, that scenario is looking, you know, possible here. All right, let's see if the retest down here, if there are sellers, we'll get our continuation. Yeah, there they go. Okay. And looking for continuation. $15, and then let's see 12. There they go. Look at that quick move into 12. Yikes. Stop run. Icebergs on the other side. Guys, careful in this environment here. This is we're getting right back into that same kind of environment now. Stop run below, looking to stop run above up here somewhere. Okay, looking for those buyers here, and then we're looking for trapped buyers up in here, right? And then looking for a pivot line in here. Looking pretty good at 20 so far, and that was the event over here. So let's see if we can get trapped buyers back up above it and then sellers back down below it. So there's the move to the other side. Okay, now did they get enough up here? Is there enough buyers up in here? Did it auction up here? Are we seeing you know, a lot of transactions up here? Okay, so we're already down below that line here, and then looking for sellers to try to go right back down to like 16 or 15 here. Okay, and then looking for a continuation. All right, guys, let me get back to the questions. Sorry, I've been just kind of on a rant here with the current price action. Good stuff. Also, we can take a look at some stocks as well. Any suggestions you guys want to take a look at? Crypto as well. Oh, let's see if we can get sellers at 18 here, it'd be pretty nice. Trying, there they are. All right, let's see if they can push it here. Retest and follow through on the sell side. Let's see it. Down to 15. They're pulling at 15. There's some exhaustion again on the buy side. Okay, looking for a retest to here. Now, this is getting kind of microstructural here at the moment. Okay, because this is a tougher read in here, I think, with the order flow. Still looking for sellers here, and then the push into 15, and you can see they're buying off of it. There they are. There's some sellers. Let's see now. They got to follow through here. Retest, no selling. Now some selling. There they go. Okay. Kind of turning into a choppy mess. Let's let me get to these questions. I think we're all set up here on Discord. Let me go back over to YouTube. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry guys. Just getting to your questions now. Lots of them. Great. And we're getting that follow through here. This was like a tough read in here, I thought. Even down here, I mean, they're doing it, and it's following through. So you know, we stick with the structure here, and where the volume is. So you know, we'd stick with the downside, but I just the volume is not so convincing down in these areas here. So I don't see anything clear in the order flow right now. Okay, you can see that the buyers come in, test it back up here again. Nice cluster down here. But one point before I get to some of these questions, let me just go through this. This is important about the structure that we talked about. And we're going to take a lot of this stuff off the chart. Okay, let's just clear the drawings. And then let's take the heat map all the way down here, the dimmer. And then we're going to take the volume dots off here as well. And this is such an important part of your analysis, okay, on any time frame. Order flow works on any time frame. Okay, is what we want to understand is like buyers and sellers, or in this price action, where is it accepting and rejecting? Okay, so it was trying to accept above this swing here at 32. Tried. We talked about it several times with the order flow, and that's why we're looking for this move here back up into like VWAP here. Okay, that would have been a nice move. It rejected up here, it exhausted out, and then we see the sellers push through the 30, and then the volume starts to pick up in here, and then they move it lower. Now the structure here, you know, higher highs, higher lows, or you know, lower highs, lower lows, is what we want to kind of gauge here. Here we made it, even though it's slightly lower, it still didn't do it. Sellers are still in it from this point on. Okay, this move here, they are in control here, and you don't need to look at the volume to really understand that. You can just look at the market structure. So we'll go through this in more detail here about understanding market structure, because it is essential to understand. Okay, and then we look for the order flow within it. Right, this will give such a nice roadmap into different scenarios to look for in the order flow. Right, so, and this will keep you in trades. Okay, not getting shaken out of certain trades in here. I mean, right now we're still bearish here because of the structure. Okay, now it's just, see how like the order flow here, even though the swings, like it's still holding true. Look at this is horrible in here. We know this is gonna be horrible volume in here. We don't even have to look at it because look at how choppy it is on the way down here. There's no decisive moves in here, right? Even this little pop in volume in here on the buy side, we can see it in the bars here at least. The structure is still bearish. Okay, not until we get up here and we see buyers back up in here and they break it. And even if they do, and there they are, okay, even if they do, okay, there's still ways to get involved in here, or it might even fail here and come back down. Okay, and that's what we want to gauge here. Now on this small time frame, see how this failed here? It broke out, okay, and then basically it failed. It came back into the range here. So here's where you can get your pullback strategies. Lots of different things to look at in here. Okay, the one we've always used, there's a couple. Number one is we're looking for it to accept above the range. Okay, that already clearly didn't happen. So we look for either events or high volume nodes down here, okay, like a big volume dot, or we also look at POC of these ranges. Now POC is, now we're bringing volume profile into it here, or auction market theory, not just swings. And what we're looking at in here, and this is where you need to either have your profiles, or you could also look at some structure in here too, and kind of gain insight to the volume profile. You know that above here is going to be kind of a you can see the breakout, the pullback here, and then the continuation on a very micro level in here. Okay. So here we go. So here's the move back down. Now here, it retested back up here, didn't follow through. Okay, now we're looking for sellers to push it through. Okay, push it through to 12.5 and below, just based on market structure in here. Okay, and look at this liquidity down here. We don't see the order book here, but we have the dome, so we're looking for 405 or 40.05. Okay, it's a potential target. There's also some here at 10, right? You can see it in the dome, right? So let's turn our other two elements on here. We're looking at our volume dots and look at our heat map in here, okay? Because we're looking for the breakdown into these levels here. Okay, it retested here, couldn't follow through. That's why when we come back to point of control, we're looking for it to trade through it. Does that make sense? It's really important to understand some of these concepts here in order flow. Some of these concepts in market structure and order flow are digested, I mean, you'll see all sorts of things starting to unfold, like the push through here after it retested up here. Okay, so let's turn on our volume dots. Okay, and nice move, or volume in here, kind of tapered off at the top. Okay, that's a detail in the order flow. And then up here, there's some buying, there's some selling. It comes back, it bounces. See the sellers here? They're going to push it through. Okay, and still looking for them to push it through. Okay, the first test was we talked about was 10, but this 05 level looks really good. Okay, and then also 4,000, the figure down here. Okay, there's 10. It clearly traded. And then some. That's an iceberg in there too. It's a stop run and an iceberg. Or stops triggered. Okay, let me get to some of these YouTube questions. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, supply and demand, Brian, is a huge part of it. Understanding the reaction to supply and demand. I mean, if you don't have the heat map, you're looking at this, and you're just looking at traded volume and levels, which is good. It's really good. we were just reading one thing, and that was not even volume. We're just looking at price structure, and that's pretty good too. But boy, when we have all of these pieces in here, we understand that the context between these elements in here is it offers a lot more insight. Okay, so here's our retest back up here, and see we're right back down. I'm looking for, again, sellers here, try to push it through. Okay, so, and they're not. We got to get them down here around this 11 here. Okay, so now you could look for strategies here to just trade it back down to 11, right? And then pull your orders and then add them lower, or move them lower here if you get the move back down there, right? Or take some off down here, right? That's, potential trade management strategies in here, because, look, buyers come back in and do this, right? So you took some off, you'd be at break even, and that'd be that. But you were set up for it. You were set up for the move in this scenario. Didn't play out. Scratch the trade, look for the next one. All right, so anyway, let's continue on here. Continue on with the questions here. Okay, so there's a retest back up here, and it's back in the range. Okay, so again, same idea down here. We want to see the sellers try to push it through, and they're not. The buyers came back in and retested back up above here. Okay, so it's down here around 13 or so is where we want to see them try to push it through. Okay, see the exhaustion here on the buy side. Let's see, do we get sellers here at 15? Nope. They're still pushing it here on the buy side. Okay, look for exhaustion. No exhaustion. They're still buying. Trying to look for some exhaustion to trade back down to some of these kind of clusters. That's what I'm trying to demo here, and we're not getting that right now. There it is. There's some. Now they got to get here, and we see how they can upend it here. We've got exhaustion here. Then we're looking for it to auction here on the sell side. Okay, you can see they're getting upended here. Okay, so, and again, what if we, now these buyers can get upended here. Okay, so we're looking for sellers still down here. Okay, bottom of this kind of range here, and exhaustion followed by sellers down here, and then the push. Okay, looking for it now. It looks better now. It exhausted here. Looking for it. Our sellers right around here. There's some more. Let's see it. We got to get sellers here. And then the push down to 17 and 15 3/4. Here they should be able to do it now. There they go. And let's see the break. Oh, they're still buying off of it. Okay, sellers, you got it right here. They've got it, and push it. There's 17. They got more in this, I think. If we see how we have to kind of zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture. Did we get a lot of sellers down here? No, we didn't. So in context, again, context. In this little range, yeah, it looked great. We zoom out in the bigger picture. Does it? No. All it did was spike below this, and now we're back up into the top and breaking highs here. Okay, but just based on exhaustion followed by follow through, or followed by sellers to push it down to the bottom of the range. Okay, and target some of that liquidity in here. Okay, and still looking for it again here. Again, this is, I like it even better here. Here's why, because we have this nice push up here, and the sellers coming in, looking for them again right down here, and then the push through down to our 15 and then some. I think they've got it here. I think they've got more power on this one. But 15 is the first target. There it is. Look at that, a book flip at 15. So they're going to push it down to 10. Okay, I think everyone understands that concept. They're here on the bid. Now they flip to the offer and looking for a follow through on the sell side. See, then this is kind of our pivot right in here. And this is some pretty wicked, you know, order flow activity right at that pivot, this important pivot here. Okay, our pivot is the break above this range here. See how these ranges, we're not making this stuff up. And then now is we just about got to 10, and now they're retesting back to these guys here. The market does this all day long. It retests back into some of these events here. You know, and you would do the same thing, like a larger player, retest some of these areas. Is there, you know, are we sure? Are we not sure? And then that's when we can get so much from these areas in here, especially on a retest. You know, buyers, not as many buyers, lower high. Okay, let's see if we can get sellers again down here. Because if you're a larger player and you test back up here and you don't see any aggressive buyers, or you don't see demand at higher levels in here, boy, you know, it looks good to push it to the downside. And you can see that they're just banging it around. We're getting close to our European close, but now they're back up above, and a book flip, well, not quite a book flip, but look at them on the bid now, right? Trap anyone down here, now push it and now test back up into here, 21. All right, lots of questions. Back to the questions, guys. Sorry about this, and then also we'll get to the look at some other instruments there. There's our push to 21. Okay, so they tested back up here. All right, so is there softness up here still? Can they still, yeah, it seems to be auctioning. Maybe they can push a little bit higher here. 23, 24, 25. Now there's our retest. Okay, now we found some buyers here. Okay, back up at 22. All right, let me get to the questions here. Sorry. Yeah, Rasta Maggie. Yeah, we can look at crypto. I mean, it's all the same stuff. You know, we can look at crypto markets here. Like here's the test down into, this is Coinbase Pro, and you know, into this 32,500 area here. Right now, look at the selling down into these areas here. Yeah, they sold. It's still trending. Look at the structure. It's still trending lower. And now it would be upended if we get the buyers to reach back up to 650 here and then be able to break it. Okay, and then come back up into maybe some of these higher levels here, 850, 900, and 33,000. Yeah, you're right. I mean, different instruments, they trade differently, but the order flow kind of overall, the order flow events are the same. Like a pivot line would be right here at this 520 level here, or 500. Okay, so are they buying above it? Are sellers gonna push it through? Okay, we had some selling or some buying up here, retest, didn't find any buyers. So I'd be looking for that scenario here. If we can get our sellers here at right around this kind of 520 area here, I think they can push it through and come back down to the lows here. Right, that would be the primary scenario I'd look for in this. And what that would look like for what? What would we be looking for up here on the retest? Exhaustion, right? Lack of buying. Okay, and then watch the sellers push it back down. Okay, to re-auction down here, right? And here they are. Okay, now let's see if they can do it. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, here we go again. Now let's see. And they're auctioning there. We'd be looking for them to try to move it and try to hit some of this liquidity down here. Okay, below this area, below this critical level in here. Okay, so now looking for follow through on that sell side. Now the opposite scenario here, what if you just can't find them and you get buyers back in? This is going to be our trap volume here. But look, you got to take risk at some point, or every time you trade. It's always risk. Okay, so you're gonna go with this idea and then or get stopped out if it comes back up, or you're gonna go with the sell side here, and these sellers trying to push it through back down to here. Okay, down to 32,380. Okay, based on what we're reading here in the order flow, yeah, that looks like, it's not the greatest in here, but yeah, retest back down into these areas. It looks like it more or less it wants to do that. Okay, it's not so clear. It's not the greatest order flow reading in here. Anyway, there's just a little bit on crypto. What is the range incentive it has on the market? A big delta dot. Well, I mean, look for areas in here where like we've been covering. Is it? Did it accept? We're looking for we're basically looking for some commitment in here from that buy side. It's not bad in here so far. They broke this structure. They're buying up here. There's more buyers than there are sellers. A little cluster of selling in here, but countered by buyers on the other side. Still looking pretty good. Here they're still buying, still looking pretty good. Okay, now sellers did pull away from that little range in here, and they drove it back down to the bottom of this one here. Now we're seeing sellers down here. Now we were just covering this in the live market. Okay, not bad. Some buying up here, exhaustion here. Sellers starting to come in. Looking for sellers here, and then looking for the follow through to the downside. Okay, and then that just played out right now. Okay, now it's not, it's kind of choppy in here, a little choppy in here, but that would be the primary scenario. Okay, through the order flow reading in here. I hope that answers your question. It's a great question. I don't know if I quite understood it all. How can more, by the way, how can there be more buying when someone, well, there's more buying. That this is I would highly recommend that you watch part 1 of our educational course. This will go, this is, I'm really glad that you asked this question, because this is so essential to understand how price moves, and we cover that in detail in our education on part 1. Okay, what makes price move? All right, it has to do with supply and demand, and also the appetite of the aggressor, the market buy and sell orders. It just to understand this really simple concept in all markets, be it on an exchange here, or just going to like the farmers market. Okay, it's all really very much the same. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, the color striations here are the limit buy orders down below and limit sell orders above. Okay, all based on the COB column. Okay, the current order book, or your DOM. Okay, your numerical values that show liquidity. These are limit sell orders here and limit buy orders down here. Oh, guys, I know I tempted you on Friday, but like I'll mention it again. We have something to really pretty special to show. It'll be coming out in some weeks. But being able to understand what we just went through in terms of testing some of these areas in here, the clarity it'll be much better, and truly understanding what's going on in these markets. Okay, not just that educational part 1 and 2 of our course. I mean, that happens. It has to happen even in these events that we're going to be covering here pretty soon. But nonetheless, like just these kinds of pressures, and understanding if you are a seller in some of these areas, what's your position? Well, you're not a seller anymore. You're a buyer. And where are you going to feel the pain, and where are you going to get out? And it's going to be up in these areas in here. Okay, so and that's another kind of market dynamic to understand, which we will go through in detail. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of moving averages. Just if it's like a VWAP or a point of control or something like that, and a lot of traders are looking at it, then I like it. If I don't know who's going to be looking at what moving average. Okay, now if you have studies based off of it, that's something else. Okay, anyway, I just like looking at the order flow around those events. Like if you have studies based off of moving averages, great. Now look at the order flow, like some of the things we're covering in here, and oh man, you're gonna make such a better trading decision, because you'll have the order flow on your side, along with your strategy. Oh, you're welcome, Antonio. Yeah, glad you're enjoying these webinars. Okay, so Denise, you were looking for a gap fill. Okay, yeah, I mean, those are great areas. We talked about gap fills earlier. Huge gaps in here, actually, as you can see. But this was after, and when we started this webinar, there was kind of we were into the first hour basically. The second candle had just shown, and it was up here and it wasn't showing us much. Although we did take the stance, okay, well, we think, and this is the S&P. Okay, nice follow through, guys, on the downside in this crypto, in Bitcoin. But we took a stance here. Oh, look at the 05 starting to trade. Okay, that was also after we got to 10. That was our next level here. So this is nice follow through here. Looking for the figure 4,000. I don't think it's going to be easy as that, especially European closes in the last. Well, it's still kind of closing here, right? So be careful. There's going to be some back and forth in here right now, but the figure's where it wants to go. In general, lots of liquidity right around these big numbers, and it's not so much the big number, it's the liquidity around it. All right, so when we started the webinar, yeah, right, we didn't really, it was kind of choppy in here. We saw this buying coming in, and we thought, yeah, okay, well, maybe they can kind of reach back up a little bit higher. And then we read it, I think it was here, and we didn't see it. We saw the sellers below it. Same things we've been covering here. We saw the sellers below it. We're looking for that follow through to the downside. God, no, that wasn't. Was it? Yeah, that was 10 o'clock. Yep, that's when we started. Okay. All right. So looking at gap fills, again, I would, that's great. Gap fills are great plays. Just look for the order flow to, support that gap fill. Otherwise, if you're still in this looking for a gap fill, you're really, really hurting. It might take a couple days. It might not happen at all until, years later. Yeah, understanding the structure, Rastamage. You could see how it just really keeps you on the right side. I mean, yeah, I mean, even this whole move here, basically, yeah, we're looking at these counter trend trades and then the continuation, and then counter trend trades and continuation. But here's the easy approach. Just if you're depends on the time frame you're trading, but once you kind of got some clarity in here in the movement, this trended just beautifully, right? Yeah, here you might have gotten shaken out a little bit right in here, just around 1045, because there's pretty strong volume in here, and we're looking for that move back up into here, VWAP, and you would still be bearish on your higher time frame structure, right? The swing it would have to break this swing up here. It started to break this one, right? But the next one up here, that's what it'd really be broken. And you can draw your trend lines, and it behaved beautifully around that. And, trend lines, look, again, just look for the order flow around these events or around your levels. To verify your strategy. Ten years pulling back a little bit. Okay. Oh, nice one. Goon 05. Yeah, you have some really nice insights. Yep. Good stuff there. I love looking at the correlations. I think it's a great way to really enhance your trading as well. It just makes such good sense, guys. We're trading into the just down to the figure right now, or I don't even know if maybe it did trade. Yeah, it's just trading. Yeah, and through it, and through it. All right, well, watch this, especially end of the European session here. Iceberg's already lined up on the other side. Uh, watch, be careful here. It's the massive pivot here at 4,000. Okay, so we can get a lot of people going the wrong way down below it, and then the move back up above it. It's already doing that somewhat here, and we'd be looking for these buyers to try to, and these are profit takers too. They're not just buyers coming in. These are a lot of profit taking, down into these levels here, and then it can come back into 10, which is nice area here. We've got an event, we have high liquidity, we have a swing here, and having some liquidity come in on the offer as well up here. So yeah, let's see if these buyers can try to stretch it back up into here into 10. Typically we look for them to trade through about 4 or 5 points, and then come back up and then do this. It seems to be doing this immediately here instead. Okay, so yeah, just looking for it to inch up into this 10 level here. All right, that's where we left off on the S&P. Lebret, no, I mean liquidation levels is a whole nother thing. Okay, we can look at stops and icebergs in here, which is tremendous transparency, just tremendous. But we'll be able to extrapolate even a little bit more from that for crypto. Oh, good stuff, Mason. You're enjoying it in here. Yeah, we do this all day. I mean, well, entire webinar. Oh, you're welcome, Rasta. Javier, thanks. Yep, I'm getting caught up now. We're just getting to the 4,000 level, so I'm almost there. New York reversal could be coming. Usually, yeah. I mean, it depends. Like, typically we see it around 10 or 10:30 or somewhere around there. It depends. Yeah, I mean, even 11:30 as well. But a lot of times, like that first hour of trading, and then get people all on the wrong side and move the other way. You get your counter trend trade, and then you get your continuation later. That happens as well. Okay, so, and again, like, what does that mean? Like, it just means like looking for where people are trading and transacting, and where market will go and test to see if there's still more interest in trading at some of those extreme levels. And that's where you can get your cascading stops, and kind of move and test into those areas. All right, well, we'll talk about it more, and yeah, and put that together with stops and icebergs and order book sweeps, etc. In these quick moves like this. Okay, so yeah, this move back to 10. Okay, so even look at the structure here. So that's what we're looking for over here after it broke down and then traded back into it. So that's a little nice 8-9 point move there. But look at the reaction up here. Okay, did it break this structure? No, didn't. It just kind of traded above it, and I don't even see any stop runs above it. So it might have to come back up here and test again and try to see if there are any stops. Okay, but we need to see buyers to be able to do that. And where are they going to be interested in buying? Well, I would say this cluster here is not bad. Okay, and then maybe this one, or even down here. Okay, just below or above these guys here around this O2 area. Okay, and still anyone that sold down here, they might just have to buy it back at that point down here to get the nice move back up. Just different scenarios here again in the order flow, understanding where price might go. Okay, all right guys, well let me see here. We have Tom B. For those guys who want to continue, this will be Tom looks at the S&P, and we'll have him on YouTube very shortly, guys. Thanks for your patience on that. He'll be in our Discord chat room though in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so look for him there, and the order flow readings will continue. All right, and Tom is a very specific trader, looking at volume profiles. Okay, that's the way that he trades, and is an expert at it. Okay, so it'll be S&P and volume profile, and you can continue on there. We'll meet up again with you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. And let me just request here, if you like this video, then please subscribe to our channel and like the video. That really helps us quite a bit, and allows us to continue on with this in-depth education for you guys. Okay, all right, excellent. Thank you very much, guys. Wealth Pegasus, thank you. Very, very nice compliments in there. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Okay, yep, thanks for coming. Bye bye.